In today's form drawing exercise, we're going to work on with the loops and circles scenario from the last video. So in this form, we're going to draw a circle, and with this circle, we're going to draw a little rounded loop at the top. And then we're going to come down and draw our little pointy loop at the bottoms and come back up to meet up our line where we started it. The next form I want to show you is a form which is very like this one that we've just drawn. Personally, I think this one works, and I'll explain in a little while why. This one works nicely. The next variation here is one where we draw a kind of mirroring of what we already have. So here we have two pointy kind of loops with a more curvaceous loop in the middle, or a little kind of rounding loop here, and a pointy loop and a pointy loop. And it's harmonious because it basically mirrors. So then of course you can also draw a circle where you have two pointy loops at the top, and then you have your rounding loop at the sides, and so you don't have any at the bottom but one at the other side. So this is another variation. So here we've moved the rounded loops round to the side. Now the form as it's shown in the workbook is one where you have a rounded loop at all four sides. So you have a rounded loop at the top, at the side, at the bottom, and the other side, and you have pointy loops in between. So you're basically doing a motion like this, and then you sort of stop when you get to a point, not for a long time, but just like a rhythmic stop, and then you go on to do your next line and a rhythmic stop, and then you do your next line and a rhythmic stop, and your next line and the last rhythmic stop, where you're meeting up with your line where you started it. This is the form that you'll find in Kutzley's workbook, and that's the form you should practice. But these forms, I think all of these three variations work. I don't particularly like doing something like this. That doesn't feel harmonious to me. So, you know, you can try that and see how it feels for you, but it doesn't feel harmonious. You might say, well, if this doesn't feel harmonious, how come this feels harmonious? And I think it's probably because this reminds me of a person, you know, so you have a human with a head here and a couple of arms and a couple of legs and a body. this makes it feel kind of harmonious, whereas this doesn't have that same symbolism. And so this works because the shapes are mirrored, and this works because the shapes are mirrored. But go and check things out for yourself, test it, play with it, come up with even more variations, and come back next week for a new form drawing exercise.